Hey, Drew from Engin is here to show us another bike. I think he sells the most of the 29er hardtails. What do you got here?
So this bike is a lot of the newer, I won't say new, but newer features that seem to be popular in the mountain bike world. It has the tapered head tube for the 1.5 to inch and an eighth top fork, which will be the standard. I don't see the inch and an eighth straight steer tube really continuing very much longer.
Right.
This is definitely a superior design. It's much stiffer. It's just better overall for front suspension bikes. It has the press fit 30 bottom bracket, which some like, some don't, but it has some merit. I think it adds a little bit of stiffness factor. It allows you to use some oversized tubes and whatnot. It has limited crank options right now, but in this scenario, it didn't matter. He was pretty keen on using this specialized crank, which is a nice product. I think it's nice. Dedicated 1x9. So because of the 36 tooth cog in the back, there's no way to put it. Well, you could put a front derailleur with a zip tie, but no front derailleur accoutrements on this bike. And this is actually the 142 spacing with the 12 millimeter through axle.
Wow.
So I think that's going to get some legs. It's not there yet. They haven't figured out that you can make the hub shell a little bit wider, you can make the wheels a little bit stronger, but it's ready. It's definitely something that has merit.
And that's there to keep the tail end stiffer even on the hardtail?
Yeah, I mean that 12 millimeter axle coming all the way through, as opposed to stepping it down to a little shelf that sits inside the frame. It is similar to the scenario with the fork, where you went from a 9 millimeter to either a 15 or a 20 through axle. It really just adds that little bit more surface area and contact and stiffness, and it seems to be noticeable. And
29er especially.
But yeah, this is a good reflection of what it is I do when it comes to the mountain bikes, which is just kind of a purpose-specific, well-designed but kind of clean execution.
Your brakes are
all the brakes now will be chainstay mounted. I worked with Mark Norstad from Paragon Machine Works to also have a moving dropout that has a chainstay mount. So the geared bikes will have the chainstay mount, and the single speed bikes will have a chainstay mounted brake.
And what does that do?
It allows, the main thing for me was to remove the need for a brace. So when you chainstay mount the brake, effectively the seat stay is your brace. So when you have the brake on the outside of the triangle, then it's just coming in, and all the forces are leaning in on the chainstay. When you put them between the two in the triangle, then the seat stay effectively becomes your brace.
Becomes the brace.
So it's slowing down the forces before it can go ahead and try and snap the chainstay and drop out joint. And you know, disc brakes are what break bikes. A lot of mountain bikes have been re-engineered or redesigned or dealt with the forces that a disc brake can handle.
That's true, Or sometimes they over-engineer this part and it becomes overly heavy.
The dropout itself is still relatively elegant and everything. You're moving the forces to a different place so that you don't need the brace. And the rocking dropout that is now out is the similar scenario, where you no longer need the brace, and it has a slightly cleaner execution.
Yes. I noticed some adjustability here.
Yeah, well, a lot of the new trends and all these new rear derailleurs is they lose that barrel adjuster, which I understand that there's a barrel adjuster on the shifter, and that, but from years and years and years and years and years of wrenching, you're standing there in the stand and you don't want to reach up, and so this is right in front of you.
That's true.
Give a little tweak, you can reach it from your saddle. Whatever you want.
That's true.
But
I can't understand it, but it does bother me.
It's just a nice little touch that you don't have to go underneath the handlebars, upside down, do a barrel adjuster.
Right. Yeah, because you know, when you're on a road bike, and it's not there. Then you're switched around. So, well, wonderful. So, one thing I want to ask you too is, you know, who's your ideal buyer these days?
Well, the first thing is patience. So a patient buyer, because
a patient buyer is a good buyer.
With a 1 year wait list, it's the first hump that everyone has to get over. Is unfortunately they're not going to get it for the season in which they might have made their decision to get the bike. But in all honesty, the number one thing for me is that the bike is not wall art, and I want it to be ridden hard, and, you know, beat the crap out of it, because it will handle it, and hopefully you'll love it every time you ride it. Let it get chipped up. It's not a problem. It's just paint. It's all cosmetic.
Well, wonderful. It's there are artworks for sure, but yeah, it sounds like you've designed in enough functionality and performance in them.
Thanks.
Thank you, Drew.
No problem.